So, welcome everyone to the tutorial for Silence 2. As you can see, this is a very track with a lot of corners that are ideal for drifting. So I'll just start with the clip. Hold on. So as you can see, this is a track with a long spiral. So if there's any track where you can win a lot of time with drifting, that would be this one. But still, the staff coast is so slow that even if you insist on grip-based driving, and I know several people that do, yeah, you can still easily beat it. So I'll start with a strategy that is grip-based, and then I'll move on to two drifting strategies that eventually takes you up to the world record. Staff ghost gets a 122, that's a really bad time. I think everyone can beat that. So let's begin with the first strategy. Again, if there's any questions in the chat about tutorials and so on, feel free to ask. Something's messing up with window capture, but I think it's okay. Alright, it should start any second now. Strategy 1, goal 119. Alright, that is strategy 1 on Silence 2. Again, the staff ghost gets a 122, and this run potentially gets up to about 116. So there's a lot of time to win. It's a fairly simple strategy with Twin Orita. So let's analyze. I'm gonna try to fix this. Yeah. Alright, so you start out with Twin Orita. Of course, if you have a grip-based strategy, you're gonna be much slower than the Staff Ghost, because the Staff Ghost is the Blood Hawk, so it's drifting. The drifting motion is not something that is animated in Ghosts, but you can see it even rail drifts, so it bounces into the rail to build up speed. With our strategy, we're just gonna stay on the inside of the corner, catch the dash plates. And you don't really have to do anything special to keep your grip other than careful steering, at least in the first lap, and you should be fine. Gradually you will start to win time on the Staff Ghost. You can see the time difference in the upper right corner. You can cut across the dirt patches as long as the boost is active for a slightly better line. You can see the Staff Ghost ahead. Now the absolute biggest trick to getting great times on Silence 2, and not only for this strategy but also for the other strategies, is to take these two corners really well with side attacks. You do that by side attacking first, really position yourself on a good position on the road, side attack first, and then mash the side attack button really fast and steer along the apex of the corner. And you can steer around these corners perfectly fine at any sort of speed you would reasonably get. And well, you keep a lot more speed in the process if you do it that way. You can catch a little bit of airtime on that little hill I just went over. That's just icing on the cake to win a few extra tenths of a second. But as you can see, I do not even catch up to the Steph Ghost in the first lap. But now in lap 2, with the manual boosting, we have some much better ways to preserve our speed than the Steph Ghost. So we'll definitely pass him soon enough. Just keep on boosting all the way along the spiral. In the perfect scenario, you do not have to do side attacks or accelerator tapping to keep your grip here. You can just carefully steer through it and you're fine. If you feel that you need to because you're always losing grip, just do a side attack or accelerator tap. You can take a really good line across these dirt patches with the boost active at a higher speed. And again, these corners side attack first and then just keep on side attacking and steer along the apex. Take the inside here. Now I start boosting. I think it's good to boost here a little bit to build up some speed to get just a little bit of airtime from this little hill here. And yeah, take the full refill strip. I don't boost in the refill strip because the faster you go through it, the less time you're spending in it, the less energy you will refill. So optimally with the boosting stuff, you start boosting when you exit the refiller and just keep on boosting all the way through this first spiral while going over all the dash plates in order. The slow-mo footage is funny to watch because you can see the Steph Ghost somewhere behind you in the spiral sometimes. So yeah, we can build a pretty good lead on that Steph Ghost just by, efficient driving. Keep straight lines, keep your steering minimal. Here you can just take a good line across the dirt patches. Go to the left here, side attack along the apex. You can just about make it. This corner as well. It's pretty simple. Boost right about here. Catch a little bit of airtime along that hill on the right side again. So that's the second little hill on the right side, close to the refill strips. This is the highest point of this section with hills and stuff. And that highest point is going to be very useful to us later in other strategies. And now just finish the race. And if you do it well, you can get easily sub 120 times and beat the Steph Ghost. So with a pretty simple strategy, should be doable, I think. And that's strategy 1. Alright. Again, if there are any questions about Silence 2 or any of these strategies, feel free to ask them in chat and I'll be happy to answer you. Strategy 2. This is, if you want an easy time beating the Steph Ghost, take take this one because you can already beat it quite comfortably with the Twin Orita and grip-based driving. You can beat it really easily if you also drift, just like the Staff Coach does. The goal time is 109, so you can see we can win a lot of seconds on that first strategy just by drifting. It's a pretty simple strategy still because we're not doing any complicated tricks or dives or whatever. Just pure drifting, and you should be able to win a lot of time. So let's watch it. So there we go, strategy 2. Anyone, any questions, feel free to ask. I think it's pretty basic still for second strategy. I think you can potentially get it at least in the top 20 or so, or even in the top 10 with this strategy. So let's analyze it. So this strategy is already quite close to the world record strategy. You start off with a hard rail drift on the left side, but not too long, because this long spiral coming up is perfect for drifting. So drift, extend your drift and go over the dash plate. I always bounce into the rail a little bit, because it helps build up your speed just a little bit more. Extend the drift to the second dash plate, and I bounce into the rail again 2 times, but not too hard, because, well, 3 times even, because you have to be careful with the energy on this one. With this strategy a little bit less so than the next one, but still, it's something to watch out for. You go fast enough that you can cut across the first and second dirt patch, and now again the trick with doing side attacks along these corners can win you several seconds, if not more, you know, on this strategy. If you're very sloppy with your side attacks, you lose grip halfway or whatever, you will throw seconds away, you will lose a lot of speed. Now on this section, extend your drift well. You can do a little drift over this hill here. You don't have to if you find that you lose speed from it. It's quite a tricky one. In that case, you just drive straight line. Of course, this is also a very good corner for drifting into the refiller. Make sure to take the whole refiller with the whole refiller path, so you refill your energy completely for lap 2. Start off with boosting immediately and extend your boosting pattern into a drift along the full length of the spiral. I go a little bit on the outside here before the first dash plate, because what I found in testing is that you accelerate the fastest if you're on that part of the track. So your drifting angle is the most optimal. I do some small bounces into the rail to keep my drifting line right. The curvature of the spiral is not always the same. Again, you can cut across the first and second dirt patch, even the third one in a TAS run, but I wouldn't go for that. It's quite risky. You will lose a lot of speed if your boost is not going anymore. I see that for the second corner here, I lose grip just a little bit intentionally and then start side attacking to take it sharper, because I guess I'm going too fast now to make it through completely while keeping grip all the way. Now, just like the first strategy, I go over a little hill to get some airtime, side attack into the refiller, take the full refiller, and only after refiller start boosting again. So this is also a strategy that relies quite heavily on the boosting, so your energy is important on this one. Well, lap 3 is almost the same as lap 2. Yeah, I hit that rail just once after the second dash blade. Extend your drift all the way up to the third dash blade. Cut across those dirt patches. Move to the left side of the road. Side attack and then move into it along the apex. As you can see, I can just very barely make it. So you have to really mash the side attack button to make that corner well. Either that or intentionally lose grip a little bit, but if you do that, you throw away speed as well. Just keep on boosting, take a little airtime over this hill here. I use the last energy I have to boost drift into the refiller and finish the race. As you can see, this is just a basic drifting strategy, very much like that Staff Ghost. The Staff Ghost plays almost like this, but this is 17 seconds faster. So just by driving clean and doing optimal drifts, you can win 17 seconds on the Staff Ghost with more or less the same strategy. So yeah, I think this is a very good strategy for everyday use, like in multiplayer or whatever. It's not too difficult and you get a pretty good time with it already. You can win just a few more seconds with the next strategy, but it's really quite a bit more tricky. So the final strategy on Silence 2. There's only 3 strategies because there's not all that much opportunity to do difficult things. But there are some double tap dives you can do, and that makes this strategy quite tricky, especially because there's a very narrow piece of road where you have to land. So, well, let's watch it first and then analyze. Alright, that's the fastest strategy on Silence 2 that we use nowadays. This run is just a little over 2 seconds faster than the world record. So if you want to beat the world record, you pretty much have to do this strategy. But there is some time to win, so let's analyze it. Hello Avi the Druid, welcome to the stream. Again, if you have any questions on strategies, feel free to ask. So the beginning of lap 1 is the same as the previous strategy. You can build up just a little bit more speed by this drift over the little hill. But now you have to pay attention to the flag, that's the highest point. Double tap R, move the control stick down right to about neutral for a good floating angle. At this point I move the control stick to the up left position to point the nose of the ship down left. Now mash the R button and move the control stick via the up position to the up right position to turn in the air, and you can just about land in the refill strip. And I've tested it, and the world record gets just about the same dive that I got in this video. So that is really, really good. Of course, at the start of lap 2, just keep driving up to the spiral and then start boosting and boost all the way through it. I just very gently touch the rail there to keep my drift going, but I skipped the last manual boost. We have to be really careful with the energy on this strategy. So I skipped that boost on purpose. You can still sort of keep the drift going up to the last dash plate and cut across those dirt patches. These corners will be slightly easier to take actually now, because we're going just a little bit slower for not boosting there. But now I boost immediately here and then once more over this little section with hills. And now on lap 2 we can do this dive again, except now it will be a lot quicker because we're going faster. Idea is just the same. Right side attack, move the control stick down right to leave the track where the flag is. Control stick is now in neutral position, I have a lot of momentum going forward. Move the control stick up left, point the nose of the ship down left. At this point I move the control stick to the up position, start mashing the R button and move the control stick to up right, to turn right and land in the refiller. I find it optimal to land in the right refiller for this dive. It's very, very tricky to land in that refiller, and that's a common problem with people trying to do this strategy going for records. That you would land back on the track but you miss the refiller, so you miss out a lot of energy, and that's tough. Very tough, so that's gonna be a lot of practice in that part. So again, after the second dash plate, don't boost anymore until the third dash plate, no manual boost there. That's a little necessity to save energy. Again here, try to keep your grip. Side attack fast through these corners, you can win seconds here. Actually, the most time compared to the world record that I win in this video is by going around these corners here with side attacks. Much more cleaner and faster. Boost drift to this section, boost once more. Now I have one more boost left, and what I do here, I lever a left side attack here. I stay about in the middle of the road, extend that side attack into a drift to the right, and I steer hard right to leave the track where the flag is, the highest point, to catch the maximum airtime of course. Then move the control stick up left, smash the right side attack button, move the control stick up and up right, and you can land here perfectly fine in the refill strip and keep on boosting to finish the race. And that is Silence 2. Of course those double tap dives are very tricky. It's very tricky to land in those refill strips, and that's why I rated a 7 out of 10. In principle, if you master the second strategy, you got pretty much this strategy also down already, except for those double tap dives, which will just be a lot of practice. It's sort of icing on the cake for players that are good on this track. But if you want to beat the world record, you're gonna have to do them all three. So I think it's a fun track, and I hope that was clear, and everybody good luck with your Silence 2 runs. Are there any more questions on Silence 2 before I move on?